What's up, you guys? It's Gus Kenworthy. I so wish that I could be there with you guys tonight, but I am incredibly proud of the work that Live Out Loud is doing, helping LGBTQ kids in high school find positive mentors and role models and awarding scholarships. I wish that I would have had the courage to be out in high school, and I wasn't, and I'm out now, and I'm happy to be, but I'm so proud of you guys for having that strength and bravery to be your authentic selves at such a young age. It's amazing. This last year was crazy for me. I got to attend my second Olympic Games, and 4 years ago when I attended, I was in the closet, I won a silver medal, and I honestly didn't have the best experience because I wasn't living my life authentically. I wasn't being me. And this time around, getting to go to the games, being out, was such an incredible experience, and I felt so loved and so supported. I was nervous when I came out that I was going to lose sponsorships because all of our endorsement deals are based around your image. And I was scared that being gay was going to project an image that companies wouldn't want to get behind. And it was completely the opposite of that. Procter & Gamble came in and supported me, and they did an incredible commercial with Head & Shoulders. They showed diversity, inclusion, and really allowed me to tell my story. They showed a pride flag in my commercial for the first time ever. And it was just amazing to have that kind of support as my authentic self. I think it's incredible, and it starts a conversation and dialogue, and it gave me an opportunity to step into a role model position in sports for LGBTQ kids and hopefully get other people involved. And I just can't thank Procter & Gamble, Head & Shoulders enough for believing in me and supporting me. And no one has believed or supported me more than my own mother. And she's here today with you guys to present Procter & Gamble and Head & Shoulders, giving them the recognition they need and presenting them with an award. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce my mom, Pip Kenworthy.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller. Doesn't mean I'm lonely when I'm alone. What doesn't kill you?
All so much for the very warm welcome. First, I want to thank Leo and the Live Out Loud for inviting me here tonight. The work you do and the lives you touch are inspiring. Oh, sorry. Oh! As the mother of a gay son, I wish there had been an organization like Out Loud. Growing up, Gus didn't have a role model. As he struggled to come to terms with who he was, he didn't see himself reflected in the sport or the people around him. As parents, I always tried to make him feel loved and had the support to be himself. But as Gus was growing up, when other athletes around him would make comments to or use derogatory slurs, a mother's love could only go so far to protect him from the world around. So in 2018, he was one of the first out athletes to ever compete in an Olympics. Although he didn't finish where he had hoped, I think he accomplished even more. First, Gus was able to compete as his true, authentic self, and no medal is more valuable than being who you really are. Second, Gus was able to share his story and to touch the lives of millions of people around the world, and I am so proud of him and the impact that his story has made on young people. Procter & Gamble led the way, working with Gus to address LGBTQ bias. Their groundbreaking Love Over Bias campaign helped create a conversation about how we can create positive change in the world around us. This was an incredible experience for me as a mother to share my love of my gay son and how we can make a difference, not just our LGBTQ youth, but anyone facing bias that holds them back. And you can have a look.
Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday things are gonna get easier.
Whew, that was... P&G also lifted up Gus's story through one of the brands, Head & Shoulders, and they helped the world to see how much a person can achieve when they don't let obstacles hold them back, and when they live their lives as their true selves, how they can reach their full potential. I have had the pleasure of getting to know the team at P&G, and they are wonderful people who care very much about creating a more positive environment for the LGBTQ community. They are using their incredible voice to make a more inclusive world for everyone. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce a true friend to Gus, myself and my family, someone that has helped me to make all of this possible and to touch LGBTQ lives all over the world. P&G's Brent Miller.
Thank you. Thank you, Pip. That was really, really kind. And watching that that spot again, I think I've probably seen it 1,000 times. And every time the ice skate, the kid with the ice skates comes on, it absolutely like tears me up again. But you know. Congratulations to all the scholarship winners. You're absolutely incredible. As someone that didn't come out until well into my professional life, I can't believe your courage and how you're changing people's lives around you all the time by what you do every day. I think that's absolutely incredible, and you have a long, wonderful road ahead of you, and I hope you take advantage of all of it and continue to do the good work. This year's been a really incredible year for the LGBTQ community. At a time when we're hearing a lot of divisive rhetoric, I think we celebrated something that, Pip talked about with Gus and Adam Rippon at the Olympics that absolutely changed the course of how we see ourselves. It was incredible to be with Gus on the mountain as he competed, because literally we were standing around a sea of pride flags. It was remarkable, and it was fascinating to see people from other countries, non-Americans cheering on this gay skier from Telluride, Colorado. And then, we were with Adam Rippon when he ice skated, and again, you saw the sea of flags, and you really recognized that something special was happening. And so it was so special for me to be involved with that and to have Head & Shoulders and Procter & Gamble as part of that. I'm so proud to have met Gus and become his friend, and Pip and their family. They're wonderful, special people. And they show us a message of love and of acceptance that's truly inspiring. What was really amazing for us is that when we started to work with Gus, we didn't know that we were going to make history. And the team that did that's here tonight. And Gus mentioned it, but it was the very, very first time that a pride flag was ever seen in a national advertisement. Which is really amazing. It took us 49 years from Stonewall in order to do that. Actually, let's have a look real quick if we can.
My shoulders carry more than my country's pride. They carry my community's pride, my family's pride,
Hi, Mom.
and pride in myself. Because shoulders are made for greatness, not dandruff.
I promise I'm not trying to sell shampoo. But it's important to take notice of that. And it's not only for the young people that Gus became a role model by having that pride flag. It was fascinating, and Gus and I talked a lot about it. He became a role model for the generation that fought so hard to make that happen. And we watch his social media feeds and people that were writing to him, and you saw people in their 60s and their 70s that talked about the fact that when it came on TV, they paused the TV and called their family or their husband, their partner, or their wife into the room and say, "My God, there was just a pride flag in an advertisement." And it's those people that came before us that paved the way to make that happen. And as we were doing that, we actually started a conversation inside and said, well, how did this happen? And it wasn't a group of people that sat around and made that decision. It was actually over 30 years of work inside from our LGBTQ employees that started a conversation, that told their personal story, that helped drive advocacy and helped drive acceptance. And we often forget those stories, particularly within companies. And actually through this process, we identified the person that started it all. It's a guy named Michael Chanik, and he's a retiree now, but he was an administrative person within the company, and he was our first out employee, and he fought for 7 years by himself to get the company to recognize LGBTQ employees. And as we discovered his story through telling Gus's story, we felt it was far too important not to share it. And so P&G just made a film with Great Big Story, which is part of CNN, to tell his story, to tell a story about how our company discriminated against our own employees because, frankly, we just didn't understand. We didn't know better. There was unconscious bias. And so we've made that film now, and I want to share it with you. We're going to be promoting it throughout Pride Month with CNN, and I think it's far too important not to see this. So.
I'd walk down the hall and get called faggot by some folks.
Get rid of them! Get rid of them! Right!
A friend of mine says, you know, Michael, you weren't the first homosexual P&G, but you sure did put a public face to it in the 80s.
We will have civil rights for gay people!
Oh boy, Cincinnati in the 80s. It was kind of a risky thing being known as gay then.
AIDS has struck 1,640.
You had a lifespan of 6 months, maybe 18 months if you were lucky. There weren't effective remedies then.
Procter & Gamble really found this niche with Paradex prescription mouthwash being used by people with AIDS.
There was this disconnect. P&G wanted to do the science, they wanted to do the marketing, but they didn't quite get, because they weren't gay, that these are people's lives.
Things were not good for the LGBT community in P&G. The words sexual orientation were not in the EEO policy statement.
You know, where are the gays? Where are the lesbians?
The words needed to be there.
They were not ready to embrace that. They were not wanting to embrace it.
In no way was Michael going to back away.
I just kept at it.
He was willing to put it on the line.
He was willing to be an outlier.
It's either going to take you or you're going to take it. I had made up my mind.
Policies do matter. Taking a stand matters. Words matter.
It's important to understand the struggle because the truth is we're always in the struggle.
Thanks. You know, it's the Michaels of the world that create incredible change. You're the next generation that's going to create incredible change, and I'm incredibly proud of you and incredibly proud to be a part of this. You know, what Michael did 30 years ago continues to have lessons that all apply. And, you know, I had a conversation with our former CEO last week who watched this, and he sent me a note, and he said, you know, the one thing I take away from this is that life is all about relationships. Other than our love, the greatest gift to give to another person is our trust. And without trust, love can no longer endure. And then he said, believe in yourself, do what you think is right, and just love people. And I think that I think that's incredibly profound as the head of one of the largest companies in the world, or a former head, and he told me that he feels that this story and not understanding the plight of the LGBT community is the largest black spot on his tenure as a business leader. And I think that's really special that we continue to learn, continue to teach, and continue to grow. So, thank you. Keep up your incredible work. And as you live your life open and honest the way that you are, you're going to touch millions of people's life that you come in contact with every day. So congratulations, and thank you for helping us be a part of this.